Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Julie's Orchids. Today we're going to be discussing this beautiful flowering plant you see before you, and this is Brassocattleya Yellow bird. So do stick around and we'll go into a bit more detail about this plant. Well, welcome back guys. So as you can see, we've got this stunningly beautiful flower. This is Brassocattleya Yellow bird. I've had this plant in my collection for a couple of years now, and it's suffered the attack of the thrips and the spider mites, which a lot of my collection did. But despite that, this plant has been a very reliable bloomer. I've got this lovely spike here with 2 flowers on it, and back here I've got another spike with 2 open and another bud forming. And I thought I'd kind of go over this plant with you. So this is a stunning plant, and as you can tell by the shape of it, that there's a lot of Brassocattleya nudosa in it, or at least looks like there is, and there is. So the registered parents of this are Brassocattleya nudosa and Brassocattleya Richard Mueller. Now within Brassocattleya Richard Mueller, there is Brassocattleya nudosa and Cattleya millerii. So this has Cattleya millerii, Brassocattleya nudosa, and Brassocattleya nudosa in it, and you can tell from the look of the shape of the plant, and it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. It does have a fragrance. It has a nice floral fragrance, which is appreciated at this point in time because my Orchid variegata carrion flower succulent plant is in bloom, and this is very nicely canceling out the smell of that one, particularly as it gets later in the day and towards the evening. So as you can see, we've lost several of the canes, the pseudobulbs. There's some damage on them. You can see damage on them still a little bit from the spider mites and thrips that I had. But it's recovering. It's recovering well. So I've got it set up in pumice. I do everything in pumice in my growing environment. Now I grow inside of my home, and I'm in Perth, Western Australia, which is a temperate climate. So we go for long stretches of the summer with no rain, and it's very hot and it's very dry, and the heat requires for humans to live comfortably air conditioning. So the inside of the house and the growing space, it's difficult to keep humidity levels up. So I like to use pumice in semi-hydro because I work full-time, and it has allowed me to keep enough moisture in the pot to where I can water these just once a week, and that's if they need it. Now in the wintertime, my plants in this setup, I look at the color of the roots down inside of the pot, and if they're green like this one, they won't get watered. But then on that token, because of my job, if they don't get watered on one Saturday, well, they're not going to get watered until the next. And that's just the reality of it. I have a job, I work full time, and sometimes I work more than full time. So plants get watered once a week, and they have their fertilizing routine, which I've gone over before in the past. I think I made a video on that. If I have, I'll put a link in up above. If I haven't, well, I'll do one. But so yeah, I've got this in the semi-hydro setup. I have it in large pumice, and the reason it's in large pumice is because you can see the roots. They're fairly substantial sized roots, and I found that small pumice kept it too moist, and I was getting root rot. So that's why I'm in the large pumice. As far as lighting for these plants and my Cattleyas or my Brassocattleya types, they do like quite a bit of light. So again, with all of my plants, I push them with as strong a light as they can take without burning, because you can burn plants with LED lights. Some of this damage on the top here, it's from the pests, and some of it's because I accidentally fertilized way too much about leaf tip burn. I've done a video on kind of zygopetalum lighting, but generally the concept is the same. If the tallest part of your plant is growing into the light, obviously it's not high enough, but if the tallest portion of your plant or leaves of the plant, just put your hand on them. If they feel hot, hotter than the rest of the plant, well, they're too close. Raise the lights up a little bit. I use LED grow lights on all of my plants because the sun here is really, even if it comes in through the windows, it really burns them. So very few of my plants get what I would consider direct window sun. And so far, none of them have been outside exposed to the sun because I don't have the shade cloth up in the back garden yet. And it's burning. I planted corn and it's burned the top of my corn so bad that it's killed the plant. So yeah, I need to get the shade cloth up in the back so we can start getting some of the Australian natives outside. But for the most part, this particular plant will be kept inside. It just can't take the amount of sun that is out there. And yes, I have burned this plant with my LED lights by having it way too close to it. So just feel the tops of the leaves. And if they feel hotter than the bottom of the leaves, then they're too close to the plant. All right, so there you have it. This is Brassocattleya Yellow bird, or Cattleya Yellow bird. It's a Brassocattleya Millerii cross. It's quite a beautiful plant, and it can handle quite a bit of setbacks because when I got it, I gave it too much light and I burned quite a bit of it. Then because it was set back, it was just prime target for the pests that I had. Got those recovered, and I really was not expecting that it would bloom this time around because the pseudobulbs that it put out that have bloomed are actually quite a bit smaller than some of the other ones on the plant. So it just goes to show you this is a very reliable reblooming orchid. It kind of just requires the same care, as much humidity as you can give it, watering it when it needs it, fertilizing when it's in active growth, and it should do fine for you. So there you go. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. A subscribe would be great. I thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a lovely day.